Welcome to our webinar, Using Color Effectively and Tracking Your Steps, Saving Bookmarks with a Flight Recorder. I'm Mateo Cordero, business consultant here at Advisor, and I have Kim Caldwell here too. Hi, Kim.
Hey, Mateo. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I know Mateo has a great presentation planned, packed full, and we've got a great group on the webinar, so I'm hoping that it will be very participatory, and I'm going to be looking for raised hands who have maybe some experiences to share or questions to ask. So let's get started.
Okay, so let's start first with the flight recorder. The flight recorder is a tool we provide in software that allows you to keep track of the actions that you have done in a query in Advisor. You can also add notes to your flight record. You can go back to a selection state that you had previously, or you can also replay a series of actions. I will dive into this in a few seconds, but you can also save your actions, your query, and then share it with other people or reuse it later. To do this, you can use bookmarks, and I will cover these too. I want to go through the presentation fairly quick because we have a lot of content, and I hope our attendants participate too. So I'm going to jump in and out of the software, and we have some instructions, some help here in the presentation, and I can forward these to you if you email those at support@advisorsolutions.com. Yeah, but to open the flight recorder, you pick View on the View menu, then select Flight Recorder, and you will see the flight recorder pane open. You can go to or redo a function. This is the go to, this is the redo button. And these can be tricky. Some people might get confused because a lot of times they could work in the same way, but the difference is that the go-to function replays all the actions that took you to a particular state. So if you want to go back, to the exact selection that you had before, you can use the go-to. The redo only replays the actions you have selected. So let me show you in the software here the difference. I think that will make it clearly more clear. In here I have a prospect ID project. So for example, I'm looking to have an event in New York, and I want to invite people that have a high capacity, a high attachment to the school. So I'm going to start with New York here. I selected New York as home state. I'm going to exclude everyone else. Then I can come here to the ratings, select my engaged prospects. Then I also want to add my highly ranked prospects here. I'm going to get rid of everyone else. I'm down about to 6,000, so maybe I want to see prospects that have a good giving history. So I'm going to come here to giving history. I'm going to select prospects with total lifetime giving of over 250,000. So now I have 97 prospects that I can use for my event. So let me exclude everyone else. And now I'm going to open the flight recorder here. On the server, it's right here. I talked about in the presentation about the Analyst and Analyst X in the server, you can just click here, and you can see that all that I did here, it's being recorded in the flight recorder. So if I expand in each action, it shows me the selection that I did. It tells you in what table it's selected and how many items were selected. So you can see that all my steps here in my query were being recorded. So, now I have that list. That's great. I can export that. But let's say, I bring everyone back. So I have everyone back now. I go and do some other query. I look at alums, from, I think this is a business degree, or let me select first. So I can do an intersect. This one I just want to do quickly. Okay, so this was another query, but then, Kim comes in and asks me, what was that list of prospects that you had for the New York event? So I can go back in here to the step that I had, and then I can say go to state of action. So actually, let me show you something. In here, if I had, 51,000 people in this other query, but if I go back to this state of action, it takes me back to those 97 people, no matter what I have done before that. If you expand here, you see that any Goto function restores everyone first, and then it does the selection. So a Goto will always bring you to the exact same place. Now, for the redo, let's say a case where I would want to use the redo is, let's apply the same parameters I used to get my list for the people in New York. So high attachment, high capacity, large donors. But I want to use those parameters for people in California. So what I can do in here is go to my regions. Let me bring everyone back. And I can pick in here California instead of New York. And now I can just select, this was where I select New York. So now I selected California instead. So then I can select all the steps that I did after. Let me make sure that I have everyone. Okay. So I can select all the steps after, and then I can redo those actions. So now now what it did, it applied all that same criteria, but to people in California. So it came and grabbed the attachment, the capacity, all my parameters that I use for New York, but now I use it to get to California. So the last thing that I want to show you here with Flight Recorder is, now that I got my list of people for California, I can add in here a note and just say California list. So I will know where that query is. So now that's saved there, and if I want to go back to my New York list, I should probably have included another note here, but I sort of know where it was. So if I want to go back to my New York list, I can just pick this and go to use the Goto to get New York. So I hope that was clear enough. I see I have a question. What project and what version I'm using? I'm using the server AE. I'm accessing it via web browser, Internet Explorer, and the project is a prospect ID. So,
are you using our 6.2 software, Mateo?
Or what, sorry?
Advisor 6.2?
Yeah, I think so. This should be 6.2.
I know, I just wanted to quickly share that I was so thankful for the flight recorder just late yesterday afternoon. I was actually using Advisor to cut a list. I just, probably everybody on the call should have received by now an invite to our next webinar, Relationship Mapping Part 2. And I cut my list, and but I saved it. I created a bookmark and saved it, and then decided that I wanted to recut the list to see if I had everybody that I needed. And I recut the list a second time and realized that no, that wasn't at all right. And I was able to immediately go back using that flight recorder and the bookmark I had created to get right back to my initial list and then export it and be good to go for my e-blast today. So really handy. And I wonder if anybody else on the call has had some good experiences with the flight recorder, or if you haven't yet used it, I hope you're going to try. Does anybody have anything particular to share?
Meanwhile, I had a question clarifying the product. It as Analyst or Analyst X. Actually, this project was created using Analyst X, but then it was published. So now I am accessing it via the server AE product right now. I'm going to jump into Analyst to show you some things about colors. So
yeah, so the flight recorder came out on our server software just in the last a couple of releases ago. So it is relatively new on the server, which is awesome. So now you can get it both on our client and server software.
Yep. So I'm going to move on to the color part. Again, these are, the instructions of basically what I showed. Then we have the bookmarks, which I should also mention. So, if I want to share my California list here, I can again go to, and then if I wanted to share that with you, Kim, I can go here to bookmarks, create bookmark. I can name these bookmarks. And I can in here basically select Goto, which is all actions that led to that state, or I could just highlight some actions so that you could replay those. So that's more like the redo. So in here, I want to share my actual list and my actual characteristics of these lists of people. So I can select that. And then it's going to prompt me where I wanted to save. Then I can email that to you, and then I would, I can export it, save it, and then at the same time I can import it. And yeah, if anyone has more questions about that,
and that's really great to do if anybody's, maybe tracking giving in a particular region or amongst a particular group of individuals. If each day, for example, you went into your advisor project and just wanted to check and see what has been coming in, that type of thing.
Right.
Applying that bookmark would make it a one-step, fast, quick, easy check, rather than having to go through the analysis each time. So really, really great for those repetitive kinds of analyses that you want to be able to quickly look at.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're about halfway there on the webinar, so I'm going to move on to color. So color basically allows you, it works as an extra dimension of your data, because on top of the bars or, the scatter plot, any graph that you have, you can use color to reveal more information based on another field on your data, and that is going to give you some more insight on your data. So the color is going to be set by whoever authors the project. So using Analyst or Analyst X, they can create the project, and then they are going to set the color. So data that has not been colored, it's going to be purple. Also, you might see purple in some bars. That means that the data is not in the specific table. So in this case, we have degrees by institution. So we see, some prospects have degrees from other institutions, but there's also some people that have no degree record, so they are not on the degree table. But then once you set color, you have the option to, with the color models that we released in 6.0, you have the chance to set different pages to different colors. So I'm going to show you an example here quickly. But before, I wanted to mention the color toolbar. You can set color, and then the end users can change color from the color toolbar. That's also available both in Analyst, Analyst X, and the web version of the project. And then we have the color models, which is a relatively new feature, a couple of releases ago, that allows you, again, to color different pages by different fields and different color schemas, different assignments. And that can be really helpful, when you have different sections of a project that you want to color different. So in my example, I'm going to show you an annual fund project when you mostly care about your prospects, so you're going to color by given cementation, but then you also have a lot of appeals information. So maybe you want to color that section differently by some color related to the appeals. So color models are very flexible, and you can assign them specifically to each different page. So then we have other features related to color. The color legend, I will show you these in the software. Color scales that you can create your own, and color bins. I won't touch too much on this today because I want to prioritize talking about color models that allow you to color different pages differently. So again, this presentation is available to everyone. So this is a good example of what I was saying. You can have one color model color, for example, prospects by rating, and you assign that color to a couple pages. Then you can have a different color model for example, again, you want to see, you know, by appeal type, you want to color the appeal. So, and then you can color page 3 by a different color. Some quick tips before I move on to the software. So, like I said, color models are necessary to set and save different color schemas for different pages. Color models also you can use to have different color links on different pages. So you would have a color assignment, and then you're going to, just like a selection link works to connect, this is more for authors, just like a selection link connects the different tables in the data, the color links take color from one table to another. So you can have, in different models, you can use the linkage differently. And like I said, in our example, you can have 2 pages colored by one model, and then the next page colored by a different one. And I'm going to show you this. Things to keep in mind is that the color links get created by default when you create a selection link. So, you know, we work on lots of projects, and I think the only time you actually deviate from the links that you use on the selection is probably, I don't know, like less than 20%. So it's for really advanced users or some of the more complex projects where you want to create a specific color links. As a general recommendation, you can create your color links by default with your selection links. So when you go through the wizard, it will show you an option that's marked there to create a color link along with the selection link. Also, you can see that there are some color links that are not being used in the project, so you can highlight those. And you know, if you're trying to do some project cleanup, you can highlight those and see and maybe delete them. And then, as a best practice, you know, as a rule of thumb, it is better to create a new color model whenever you are using a new color assignment and you want to label your models descriptively, so that you know what color is being assigned to every page. So with that said, I'm going to go to our Analyst software. We have the annual fund project. I'm going to show you the color legend here that tells us that the project right now is colored by our segments. We have live bonds, side bonds, and non-donors. And right now, our whole project is colored by that. You know, or appeals, or prospect information, or giving. It's all colored by that. But let's say, you know, I'm here and I just want to see in these appeal pages, I instead want to see the appeal type. I want it to color by the appeal type. So to do that, I'm going to need a color model. You know, it will be helpful in here to see things broken down by whether it's a general letter, personal, telephone, or web. So to do that, I'm going to go to the project workshop. I'm going to select color models in here. And right now I have this default color model that was created with my selection link. So I didn't need to do anything extra to color the project in this way. But now, since I want to add a different color schema for my appeals, I'm going to create a new one. So I am going to go here to color models, and I'm going to say create a new color model. And then I want to call, these appeals. So now I have my new color model, and you can see right now that in here it says that all my tables have no color right now. So I know that my appeals are coming from a table called appeals rollup. So right now what I want to do is find that table, and in here I'm going to click on modify color assignment, and in here I'm going to select the field, and I'm going to say and I'm looking for the type. I'm going to put it on a pastel scale so that I can differentiate it. Wait, actually, let me make sure. So this one's by pastel color. So I want to maybe give my users an extra cue that things are being colored different in our appeal section. So I want to use a different scale. So I'm going to pick type. Then in here I can pick categorical. It's just another color scale. So now I have that table with assigned color. So now once that I created my color model, in here under pages, I can look at my different tables, and in there it's going to tell you what color model it's using. So now I see that all of these are using my default color model. I want to now change that to my new color model, to the appeals. So I can go here to page properties. Again, that's right-click, page properties, and in here I can switch my color model. I'm going to switch to the appeals. And now it's replacing all the colors. So now I can see that now this page is being colored by the appeal type. So web is purple, general letter, personalized letters, green, telephones, blue. I can go here to this other page, the touch points, and you notice that it's still color in the pastel scale. So it is still being colored by the default color model. So you apply the color model on a page-by-page basis. So I want to change this section again to use the appeals coloring assignment. So now that gave me some new insight, because I see the colors here, purple, red. So I come here and I can see there's a lot of purple, a lot of red. In here, if I select to see the color legend, you can change the page here on the page toolbar, and then it's going to show you how that table is being colored. So I see that there's letters are pretty consistent around my prospects. Then telephone is, for some, the blue, and then there's a lot of web, and you can see in here too, web down here. It has a lot of activity, and we see, some of these people that are getting a lot of web contacts are being contacted like over 20 times a year, which might be, too much. What we've seen as best practices is what we have in here in the goal lines, between 6 and 12. enough to stay in touch with them, but not make them tired or, disengage by the frequency of contact. So that wraps it up for the content here. That was perfect timing. So does anyone have any questions?
That's a great example of how the use of color can add additional insights, Matteo. Because these visualization tools, it's easy sometimes to think, oh, it's just a pretty picture, but there's so many things working together between the various charts and graphs and the sizes and shapes and now color too, which can really give us more information than we might have been able to see previously. So great example.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions about color? Or I know that was kind of a quick run through, and Matteo's PowerPoint certainly has a lot more information on it. I don't know. I'm wondering if any of you have tried adjusting the color or tried creating a color model. Anybody?
Okay, well,
any particular questions? No.
Hopefully, after seeing this, this will encourage people to try it. I do recommend, on some of the more complex projects, trying to use different colors to reveal more information about the data. And, if you need help when you're trying to set up the color models, don't hesitate to contact us, support@advisorsolutions.com. So I don't see any questions right now, so I think we can wrap up this webinar. Thanks for attending. And again, any questions, support@advisorsolutions.com. Thanks.